Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. Before we even get into the numbers today, I just have to set the scene.
Mm.
Because I'm sitting here with this stack of papers, game notes, the box score, play-by-play logs from season 84, week 2, and I honestly feel like I'm looking at a typo.
It's worse than a typo. It's like a logical fallacy played out on a football field.
It really is. It's like when you're doing a math problem and you get an answer that just feels wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 plus 2 equals fish. That's this game.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, that's our mission today. We are not just reading a score. We are trying to solve a genuine mystery. We're looking at the Arizona Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
And the mystery is this. How do you completely break the laws of football physics? How do you dominate nearly every stat that usually matters and still get, well, run out of the stadium?
It's the paradox of production. We always associate yards with points. It's simple. You move the ball, you score. You score, you win.
Usually.
Usually. Today we're looking at what happens when that link is just completely severed.
So let's look at the crime scene photos here, so to speak. Imagine you're the Cardinals coach. You walk into the locker room, you pick up the stat sheet, and you see this number, 464.
Yeah.
Your offense put up 464 yards.
I mean, in the NFL, that is a massive day. That's a we're poppin' champagne kind of day.
To put that in perspective, if you average 400 yards a game, you're usually the #1 offense in the entire league. 464 is an avalanche.
It's huge.
Right. And then you look across the sheet at the Browns. The team you just played, they managed 273 yards.
Wow.
You nearly doubled them. I mean, you outgained them by almost 200 yards. If I just gave you those two numbers, nothing else, and I said, bet your mortgage on who won, who are you taking?
I'm taking Arizona every single time. And I'm not just thinking they won. I'm expecting a blowout. You just don't lose games with a plus 200 yardage differential. The math, it doesn't support it.
But the math broke because the final score wasn't a win. It wasn't even close. It was Browns 45, Cardinals 14, a 31-point drubbing.
Which brings us to the autopsy. We have to dissect this because this is a really rare species of failure. It's what I call empty calorie offense, but on steroids. Like, you're eating a 10-course meal, but you're starving to death.
So where do we even start? Let's peel this back. How does 273 yards of offense somehow turn into 45 points? That seems efficient to the point of being suspicious.
It's hyper-efficiency, but it was gifted to them. You look at the second quarter, that's where the game just ended. Cleveland puts up 21 points in one quarter.
And Arizona.
0. They didn't even get on the board until the third quarter.
But wait, if Cleveland only had 273 yards total, they weren't marching 80 yards for those touchdowns. They couldn't have been.
No, they weren't driving. They were strolling. And this gets us to the one statistic that matters more than the 464 yards. The dagger. The Cardinals committed 8 turnovers.
8. I'm looking at it on the paper right now, and I still want to circle it with a red pen. 8 turnovers in 60 minutes of football.
It's an astronomical number. Think about possessions. An NFL game, you get maybe 10 to 12 drives per team? If you turn it over 8 times, you're basically forfeiting the game. You're just handing the other team the ball, usually in your own territory, and saying, here, you take the points. We don't want them.
The source material we have here calls it emptying the clip into your own foot. It's a violent image, but it feels so accurate.
Oh, it's perfect. Because it's not just one mistake, it's systemic self-destruction. And that explains the yardage disparity. Arizona had the ball, they moved it between the 20s, racking up all these pretty stats, and then boom, turnover.
And Cleveland gets the ball at what, the 30-yard line?
Exactly. They score a touchdown in 3 plays. They get 30 yards of stats. But Arizona gets 60 yards of stats on the drive that died. So Arizona wins the yardage battle, but Cleveland gets the 7 points. Just rinse and repeat 8 times.
Okay, so we know the what. The what is 8 turnovers.
Right.
But we have to talk about the who and the how, because the centerpiece of this whole disaster is the quarterback, Jack Weber, and this stat line. It is the most confusing thing I have ever seen.
It is the definition of a mixed bag, but the bag is mostly full of snakes.
Okay, let's break it down.
Yeah.
Weber throws for 232 yards, and he throws 2 touchdowns. If you're just looking at a fantasy football score, you're thinking, okay, decent day.
Sure. He moved the offense. He clearly has the arm talent to get the ball downfield. That's not the issue.
But then you look over at the interceptions column. 7, not a typo, 7 interceptions. In one game.
That's a career-ending number for some guys. I mean, that is a bench him immediately and don't let him back on the field kind of number.
How does that even happen? I mean, psychologically, after the 3rd pick, maybe the 4th, doesn't a coach step in? Doesn't the quarterback himself get gun-shy? How do you keep firing until you hit 7?
That's the fascinating psychological part of this. It's the sunk cost fallacy happening in real time on a football field.
Explain that.
Well, you're down by 2 scores because you threw 2 interceptions. So what do? You feel like you have to make a huge play to get it all back at once. You force a throw into double coverage. That's pick number 3.
And now you're down 21.
Exactly. Now panic is setting in.
Yeah.
You're not reading the defense anymore. You're just trying to be a hero. You're trying to erase the last mistake with a miracle. And that pressure, it just creates the next mistake. It's a spiral.
So he's chasing his losses.
He's at the roulette table, losing his shirt, and instead of walking away, he's just putting everything on black over and over again. And the defense, they know it. They know he's desperate. They're just sitting in the passing lanes waiting for the gift.
What's really wild is that amidst this aerial disaster, the notes say Weber was also the team's leading rusher. 5 carries, 37 yards.
Which is a huge red flag.
Why? I thought a mobile quarterback was a good thing.
It is, if it's by design. But when your quarterback is your leading rusher with only 37 yards, it tells me 2 things. 1, he was probably running for his life because the pocket was collapsing. And 2, your actual running game was completely non-existent.
Yeah, let's touch on that. Because you've got Isaiah Pacheco, usually a reliable, hard runner, 8 attempts for 18 yards. That's barely 2 yards a pop.
It's awful. And when you can't run the ball, you become one-dimensional. And when you're one-dimensional with a quarterback who is already spiraling, you are just serving up interceptions on a silver platter.
The defense doesn't have to respect the run at all.
Not at all. They can just pin their ears back and hunt for the ball.
But then, and this is my favorite detail in this whole map, you had the fullback.
Alfonso Alonso.
A bright spot in the darkness.
He gets exactly 1 carry, and he rumbles for 25 yards.
A 25-yard per carry average. Put him in the Hall of Fame right now. Right. But seriously, doesn't that make you scratch your head? Your fullback rips off a huge chunk of yardage on his only try, and you never go back to it. Meanwhile, you keep forcing throws that are getting picked off.
It just speaks to the chaos of the game calling. Once you fall behind 21-0, you panic and you abandon the run. You feel like you don't have time to run the ball. The scoreboard dictated the strategy, and that strategy just fed the disaster.
It's a vicious cycle. But okay, we have to pivot. We can't just talk about the train wreck. We have to talk about the one passenger who, walked out of the wreckage without a scratch. Marvin Harrison Jr.
The lone survivor. His performance is actually incredible when you look at it in context.
The numbers are great in a vacuum. 8 catches, 119 yards, a touchdown. But then you remember his quarterback threw 7 picks. How is that even possible?
Well, when a quarterback is panicking, they look for their safety blanket. Harrison Jr. is that blanket. He is a matchup nightmare. He's big, he's fast, he runs pristine routes. So even when the offense was just disintegrating, Harrison was still winning his individual battles.
It's like finding a gold bar in a dumpster fire.
It really is. And that's important for the fans, right? If you're a Cardinals fan and you sit through this 45-14 nightmare, you need something to cling to. You can look at him and say, okay, we have a true number 1 receiver. We have a superstar.
And he wasn't totally alone. Trey McBride got a touchdown. The rookie, Tommy Davis, was reliable. So the weapons are there. That's the most frustrating part. It's not a lack of talent.
No, not at all. That's why they had 464 yards. A bad team doesn't get 400 yards. A bad team gets 150 yards and punts 10 times. This is a good offense that had a complete, catastrophic mental breakdown. The engine is a Ferrari, but the driver drove it off a cliff.
Let's flip the field then. We have to talk about the defense.
Yeah.
Because I just feel bad for them. I look at that score, 45 points allowed, and my gut reaction is, man, the defense got steamrolled. But is that even fair?
No, it's absolutely not fair. You cannot evaluate a defense based on points allowed in a game with 8 turnovers. It's just malpractice.
Explain that for the listener who just sees the 45 and thinks the defense didn't show up.
Okay, imagine you're a linebacker. You go out there, you force a 3 and out, great job. You run to the sidelines, sit down, take a sip of Gatorade. Before you can even catch your breath, you hear the crowd groan.
Interception.
And you've got to go right back out.
You have to strap your helmet back on and sprint back onto the field. And the ball is already on your own 30-yard line.
That's sudden change.
It's sudden change, and it is demoralizing. It's physically exhausting because you get no rest, but it's mentally crushing. It feels like you're bailing water out of a sinking ship, but the guy next to you keeps drilling holes in the hull.
And despite all that, the stats show some fight. Will Johnson, Tremaine Edmonds, both had 7 tackles.
They were busy because they had to be. But look at the rookies, too. Braden McKinney and Shaq Thompson, They combined for 4 tackles for loss. That means they were getting in the backfield. They were making plays.
So the defense was actually playing aggressively. They were playing winning football in a vacuum. If the offense just doesn't turn the ball over, what does Cleveland score? Maybe 17 points, maybe 20. But you give any NFL team a short field 8 times, 45 points is almost inevitable. The defense was just set up to fail.
Right. It's that short field concept. If I give you the ball at the 10-yard line, you don't have to be a genius to score.
Exactly. Cleveland didn't have to be brilliant. They just had to be conscious. They didn't beat Arizona. Arizona beat Arizona.
So let's zoom out. We've unpacked the stats. We've looked at the horror show. What does this all mean? If you're the coach, what is the speech on Monday morning?
The speech is one sentence: protect the rock.
It sounds so cliche.
It is cliche because it's the fundamental truth of this sport. This game is the ultimate proof that nothing else matters if you don't have ball security. You can have the better scheme, more yards, Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you give the ball away, you lose. Period.
It's the difference between being productive and being effective. Arizona produced yards. They were not effective.
Not at all. And now, the NFL schedule doesn't care about your feelings. They've got the Green Bay Packers next.
You know Green Bay is going to watch this tape. They're going to see those 7 interceptions.
Oh, they are licking their chops. They know this quarterback can be rattled. They know if they get pressure on him, you might just throw it right to them.
So here's the big question for you then. Is this a burn the tape game? Do you just flush it and say, Jack had a terrible day, it happens? Or is this a symptom of something broken?
That's the million-dollar question. If I'm the coach, I am terrified of the psychological hangover.
Hangover.
The trust factor. Can Jack Weber walk into that huddle next week, look Tremaine Edmonds in the eye, the guy who was on the field all day because of him, and say, I gotcha? Does the defense believe him anymore?
That's the real damage, isn't it? It's not the one loss, it's the fracture in the locker room.
Exactly. Turnovers break trust. You can fix mechanics in film study. It is so much harder to fix a team that doesn't believe their leader can hold on to the football.
It is going to be a fascinating week of practice in Arizona. They have to prove they aren't just a highlight reel waiting to happen, both good and bad.
They need to be boring, honestly. Next week, I want to see a boring win. Run the ball, punt if you have to. Just don't throw it to the other team. Boring is beautiful after a week like this.
Boring is beautiful. I like that. Well, that's it for this autopsy of the paradoxical 464-yard blowout. To our listeners, protect the rock this week, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Stay